In this part of the guided practice, we're going to talk about how matter changes whenever you add heat. So let's look at these two pictures for example. Here is an ice cream cone. The ice cream is a solid, but when heat from the sun is added to the ice cream, it melts and it changes its shape. So let's watch that happen. As you can see, when the heat is added, the ice cream begins to melt. Butter. If you were to put butter into a hot pan, the heat from the pan causes the butter to melt into a liquid. So let's watch the butter change when heat is added. As you can see, the butter melted into a liquid. Let's watch that again. And the butter also changed shape. We can also change the shape of water by cooling it. Cooling causes things to freeze. So matter can change from heat or from cooling. So the water used to be a liquid. Now it has changed into a solid. And we can't drink this ice because it's solid. We would have to crunch it and eat it in order to be able to get the water from that ice cube because it's changed into a solid. This picture shows an iceberg. The iceberg is floating in water. Do you know which is which? Let's drag the labels to match. So is the iceberg ice or water? Well, it says it in the name. The iceberg is ice. This is frozen water. It's not liquid anymore. That's why it has a solid shape. As you can see, this water is water, and that's what the iceberg is floating in. Okay, so the water is a liquid, the ocean, and the iceberg is a solid because it's frozen. Now I have a question. I want you to extend your thinking. What turned the water into an iceberg? Did you add heat to turn the water into an iceberg, or did you cool the water to turn it into an iceberg? You said that you cooled the water and you froze it to turn it to an iceberg. You're exactly right. Now imagine it was a really hot day where this iceberg was located. What would happen to the iceberg whenever the sun beats down on it? The iceberg would melt and turn into water because you're adding heat to the iceberg. Heating and cooling change things in other ways. Cooling can make cooling can make things hard. This is why we can skate on ice. So this little video is showing a person skating on ice. That ice used to be water. Could you skate on water? Nope. But because cooling makes this water hard, it makes it a solid, you're able to skate on it. Heating can cause things to change color. This hot burner is red. So on your stove while your parents are cooking, you might see that the stove burner looks red. The heat caused that burner to change colors from black to red, and that was caused by adding heat. If you put this pan on a stove, it will get hot. How will the egg change when it gets hot? So how will this egg change whenever you crack it into the pan on the stove? What change will it make? Let's add heat and see. So you can see the white part of the egg was a liquid. Now as it heats, it turns into a solid. So that liquidy part of the egg turned from a liquid to a solid when you added heat. Now let's look at the crayons. The crayons have melted. What change caused the crayons to melt? Did you heat the crayons to melt them? Or did you cool the crayons to melt them? You applied heat to melt those crayons. The heat was applied and it turned the solid crayons into this liquidy crayon mess. Got it. All right, and that's the end of our guided practice today. In your independent practice, you're going to have an opportunity to make some changes to matter by adding heat or by cooling the matter. I hope you guys have fun.